We are living in very interesting times in the history of the world. And in this video, I want to share with you on how you can prepare for the next decade with 11 thought models that I'm going to share with you here. I want you to take some notes, understand, and I'm going to go deep into explaining to you that by you being in the current situation in your life, having the current paradigms of thinking, there's a high chance that you are going to be on the losing game as we step into 2020 and beyond. I had to make peace with myself to understand that the world in which we are living in right now is rapidly changing, and it is not like the way it used to be. The paradigms are shifting in the world, the way people look at society is changing, and everything is changing at such a drastic pace where if you don't have the right mindset to accept this, you will think that the world is wrong and you are going to go in a downward spiral. But if you're able to embrace this with a positive intent, then you can spiral your way up at a much faster pace. So in the next 10 years, there's going to be a major divide. The way that I look at the world, there's going to be a major divide between the super successful and people who are really unsuccessful. And the one common thing that will be differentiated between these two is one word, and that word is adaptability. Being okay to changing one's ways and changing one's thinking on a continual basis and redefining oneself and re-engineering oneself on a continual basis to move forward. If you are not adaptable, you're going to be a dinosaur. And if you're adaptable, you're going to be a superstar. So having said that, take notes, and I want to be sharing with you 11 thought models. The first thought model, or the first thing that you need to prepare yourself for, is to have the remote control of your own life. I used to work in the corporate world for 8 years. One day my boss comes and tells me, Sid, you've been a great employee in this company, but something did not go through, our contracts did not go through, and we have to let you go. In 2011, I had lost my job. And then that's when I realized that I had to take control over my own life. Now, the previous generation, it was a different era, where there was loyalty. People would work for 25, 30 years in one company. They would get a pension and all that stuff. But today, if you've noticed the pattern just in the last 10, 15 years, people have been just jumping jobs every year, every 2 years. So there is no security in a job. Now, you may be in a high position, have a high paying position. That's good. It may be working for you right now. Everything looks right now. Good. But did you know that by the year 2030, over 2 billion jobs are going to be lost? Just go and check it up on YouTube. Just search for TED Talk 2030 job crisis. You'll find a lot of information on that. And the other thing which I've seen as a pattern is that the way that businesses operate these days are not like how it used to be before. Like, even though I run an agency, I have like 35 member agency people working for me and stuff. The way that I hire people, the way that the whole process is there in the job market is very different. I would rather work with entrepreneurs than just employee mindseted people who can come in and who can deliver results. I would rather work with freelancers and contractors and people who are coming and warming the seat 9 to 6 and showing that they are busy but there's no results to show. So to be valuable in the marketplace is to have the remote control over your own life. And I would say getting into freelancing, starting your own business, building something of your own is the more safer thing to do than to depend on a job. And I'm not saying getting a job is bad or anything like that. Some people are fit for it. If it's a fit for you, that's perfectly fine. But I just want you to consider the fact that there's a global recession around the corner. And if you're not upgrading your skills and if you're not a valuable resource to the ecosystem in which you're working in, you know what? There's no chance for you. That's the first thought. The second thing to think about, or the second thought model that I want to share with you, is called the golden triangle of success. The golden triangle of success. Imagine a triangle and there are 3 corners to the triangle. The first corner, I want you to imagine the word learn. On the top of the triangle, on the tip, you can imagine the word do. D-O, do. And the last one is teach. If you can learn, do, and teach simultaneously, that is the fastest way for you to grow in the next decade. The previous form of learning was to learn for many, many years and then go and apply for a job or whatever. And then you go and implement that knowledge. And there's no teaching here. You're only going to learn and do. But the way of the future is to learn, do, and teach. Because if you are in the mode of teaching and giving information, and one of the reasons I'm doing this video is also for me to always keep learning. And I'm learning so that I don't just keep the information, but I'm learning so that I can teach. So two things happen here. One is I'm learning new information myself. I'm constantly learning new things. And when I share this information, I'm going to reinforce that learning into my own system. And then once I publish this video, I'm going to watch it once more, not the entire thing, but I'll be watching bits and pieces. And when I'm looking at myself and watching that, I'm going to again reinforce that learning. So reinforcement of learning happens 3 times. When you're actually doing the research to learn, when you actually record the video, or when you're sharing content like this, when you go and re-look at it later on. So when you learn, do, and teach, you will be an asset to this world. And when you are teaching, you will automatically, subconsciously, you'll start to do it. Because when you're voicing out something, you're going to be more serious about implementing that knowledge than just reading it in a book and just keeping it to yourself. Because knowing and not doing is equal to not knowing. And 99% of the world are in that boat right now, where there's a lot of information out there. There's so much happening on YouTube. You can go and swim on YouTube for hours and hours together, but very few people actually go and implement with precision and focus, which I'll come to later. So the second thought model I wanted to share is, if you want to prepare yourself for the next decade, you've got to embrace the golden triangle of success, which is to learn, do, and teach simultaneously. The third thought model is to adapt with marketing trends. And since I'm from the digital space, I can tell you this, that what we were doing 3 years, 4 years back is very different right now. The Facebook algorithms are changing. The Instagram algorithms are changing. You have new platforms like TikTok that is rising. There's a rise of messenger bots, chat bots, and the whole landscape of marketing is changing. And when I use the word adapt, and I really mean that. You have to adapt with marketing trends, and you need to focus on quickly learning from people who are even less experienced than you from a external viewpoint. Now, it really does not matter what your past is. It only matters what you're willing to do right now and where you want to go in the future. So when I say adapt to marketing trends, what I mean is that even if you've achieved success 5 years back in a particular campaign, don't brag about it, but think about what can make you relevant right now. And for that, it correlates with point number 2, which is you need to constantly learn, do, and teach simultaneously. And let's move to the point number 4 now, which is another thought model. And I'm making the statement right now is, what you did last year does not matter. In business, in life, in anything. What you did 25 years ago does not matter. What you did 10 years ago does not matter. And I'll tell you this with all confidence. With all, humility. Many people in my community, I have over 15,000 people in my community right now going through my courses and stuff. And many of them have emailed me saying that, Sid, I have 30 years experience in this field. Tell me what I can do. And my only answer to them is this. Nobody cares that you have 30 years experience in your field. All people want to know is, with that 30 years experience, what is the biggest problem that you can solve right now which they're facing? So to substantiate this point, what you've done in the past does not matter. What matters is, what problem are you ready to solve for the current market scenario? Okay. See, for example, somebody may be an experienced guy in photo films, Kodak films. And if he comes in today's day and age and say, you know what, I have 25 years experience, I have 10 years experience in using photo films. But is it relevant today? It's not. So you got to be relevant, and your experience does not count. That's the fourth thought model. The fifth thought model is, the way you learn is going to determine a huge, huge difference in your quality of your life in the next decade. The way you learn. The old paradigms of learning are go to school, then go to college, then go for tuitions, master, blah, 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 sit there, learn that way. Today we are in the age of micro learning. We got to learn in quick bursts, and you got to always keep learning. When I talk about micro learning, I'm looking at stuff like Audible. If you have Audible, the Amazon app, listening to audiobooks on the move. When you're driving, when you're walking in malls, that is a new form of learning. Listening to podcasts is a new form of learning. Checking out YouTube videos and only subscribing to people that you're able to resonate with, that's also a new form of learning. Learning on YouTube. And beyond these public domain stuff is also finding a mentor who you want to model and completely surrendering to one mentor till you get a result is the new form of learning. It is not butterfly learning where you jump from one place to the other and just keep swimming around aimlessly and getting confused and overwhelmed with the knowledge. The new form of learning is where you're able to focus and learn till you achieve a milestone, and then you move on to the next from there on. So the way you learn, number 5 is the way you learn will determine the quality of your life in the next decade. The 6th thought model is the way that you live your life, which is going to determine how happy you're going to be and how fulfilled you're going to be. Everybody's running after money. Everybody's running after all kinds of stuff, power, name, fame, glory, all that stuff. But ultimately, it comes down to personal fulfillment and personal happiness. And that's why things like, digital detox is a big thing right now. People are getting into mindfulness, meditation, spirituality. All of this is on the rise now because people are still not happy after getting whatever they want, because their fundamental core of how they want to live their life is distorted. It's a distorted view. So what I would like you to do is define, because there are only 4 to 5 areas of your life which are very important, or the 4 to 5 dimensions of your life. First is your health. Second is your career and wealth. Third is your relationships. Fourth is your spirituality. And fifth is your recreation, leisure, in your personal growth. What do you want to do for your personal fulfillment? Okay, so for example, health. Are you eating right? Are you really following, are you really treating your body well? You need to define that, how you want to live your life. Are you in an environment that supports that? Or are you just with friends and people who are just abusing their bodies with all kinds of habits and stuff? Start to think a little bit more about this, okay? So health, money and wealth. Are you in the right profession? Are you really happy in your job? Are you really happy in your business? Do you think you have to course correct? And if you have to course correct, you have to make quick decisions, because every day that you waste, you're going to be wasting a week. Every week that you waste, you're going to be wasting a month. Every month that you delay, you're going to be delaying a year. Every year you delay, you're going to be delaying at least 3 years. So you got to make those decisions and sometimes it's good to be selfish on making decisions for your own protection and for your growth, because when you're able to operate at an optimum level, you'll be able to give back so much more to society. I hope you're with me on this. I'll repeat this. It is okay to be selfish on your own personal growth and development, because if you're able to operate at an optimum level as a human being, you'll be able to create a bigger impact in the society. So you got to redefine the way you live in your health, in your wealth, in your relationships, the people that really matter to you, in your spirituality, which I'll come to later, and of course in your personal growth, personal development, and personal aspirations that you have. Maybe you have these hobbies and stuff that you want to, pursue, but you know what? We are so busy in life that we don't really look at those things. So sometimes it's okay to take 2 steps back in our life to move 10 steps forward after that. I'll repeat, it's better to take 2 steps back and to say no to things to move 10 steps forward. The next one is number 7. Number 7 thought model is the way you bring up your kids and the next generation is going to determine the way that they are going to be living in the next decade. And the next decade is crucial. And I can tell this from my experience, because I have a 7-year-old, I have a 2-year-old at this point when I'm recording this video. And I'm now thinking, should I think like in the traditional way, or should I start to think alternate? And the resounding answer is alternate. I'm not putting them in the regular CBSE, ICSE, education system, because the education systems are not geared. Education systems have been built around the industrial era, and they do not cater to the next generation. And especially coming from India, I know the mindset where people, they want safety, they want security, they want their kids to be in the best schools. They want everything to be in a way which is very safe and secure and predictable. And safe, secure, predictable is the new risky. And taking risks is the new safety, especially when it comes to kids of the future. And what I mean by this is, if you have children, you got to rethink that the way that you're going to be parenting them. And many people have different ideas about parenting, and I'm just going to give you my view about it. See, things are moving in such a fast pace that I think you need to start to make your kids more independent, getting them to start their own businesses and start at a much younger age. I'm talking at age 10, age 11. They need to start something of their own. They need to start realizing the importance of building something of their own, rather than just sitting in school and doing stuff. Getting them connected with more mentors, giving them more experiential learning and not just theory learning. Because they're already learning information on YouTube. They're born with technology and they're looking at YouTube videos right from the age of 1 month. So teaching kids how to learn fast and how to do fast, the same learn, do, teach golden triangle at a younger age, is going to determine that. And of course, there are other things that you can get into, and there are many other technologies where you can find the actual traits of children using different technologies like thumbprint analysis. Look at what would be the ideal suited traits that they have. There's also this Myers-Briggs test, 16personalities.com. Make them do some of that stuff, and basically bring up your kids in such a way that they have full stack brain. So it's not just about skills development, it's also about character development, it's about moral development, it's all about building imaginative skills, discovery skills, and problem solving skills, and also having real world life skills like, say, cooking, martial arts, and all these other things also, and spirituality as well. That is what's going to help us create well-rounded human beings for the next generation, rather than just having robots that are going to be mugging and vomiting in exams. That's gone. That would have worked in the previous gen, but the next gen needs to, if you are anywhere above 30, 35 years old and beyond, and if you have kids, you have to start thinking alternate. Because then the next generation will be able to bring about the next generation in a much better way. Otherwise, they'll be just zombies. Okay, that is thought model number 7. There are 4 more to go. The next one is number 8. Is the way that you look at the world. The way that you look at the world. And I'm sorry to say this, but 96% of the world, the way they think is wrong. And what I mean by wrong is it's an endless loop of struggle. And there's only the top 4% that really rise up and achieve great things. And I want to increase that number from 4% to 10%, 20% in the next few years, because of the paradigms that have been built into us and the programmings that have been built into us from our childhood years. And let me explain this to you. If you're going to be looking at the news every single day, if you're going to be reading the newspaper and looking at all the negativity that is there, you are going to be bringing in that kind of a world into your life where you're always anxious, always depressed, and always looking at, living life with so much of fear. And look at the other side of it, is there are a lot of people who are not oblivious to this, but who have consciously decided to feed their minds with the right things on a day-to-day basis. And those people end up really changing the world and contributing more to society than the ones who are programmed by mass media. So the way that you look at your world should be in a way where you are completely off mass media programmings. And there's a book called Influence, there's a book called Prefluence by Robert Cialdini. Go and check it out. You'll understand how the entire society is being programmed by media, is being programmed by the political world, and everything it's all interconnected. And if you're able to step away from the mainstream and start to redefine the life that you want, and start to look at the world as a beautiful world, a world where you can create a lot more impact, a world where you can actually help more people, and start to radiate that energy, you will start to see you will be living in a much better world. So, newspaper, television, radio. In fact, radio, I don't know if it even exists. Newspaper, television, the news, and even stuff on YouTube, which are just pure nonsense. Just get it out of your life, because you have that choice. Your time is not your most valuable asset. Your focus is the most valuable asset. I'm going to come to that later. What you focus on in the time that you have matters the most. So the way that you look at the world has to change. And for that, you need to really find mentors. You need to find systems. And you need to guard your mind like relentlessly. Because that will change the lens through which you see the world. And when you change the lens, that will be a reflection of the world that you're living in. Okay, Let's go to number 9 now. Okay. Number 9 is the power of imagination. We are living in such a robotic world right now where everyone is looking at their screens and everyone is completely in their smartphones. As they call it, we are the mute generation. Everyone is muted in their own world, just endlessly scrolling their screens. We need to start rekindling the imagination in our minds. And how do you do that? Through art, through music, through mandala art. There are many things that you can go and do. Just go and check it out on how you can fire up the imagination in your mind and start to do things in an alternate way. For example, if you've been eating with your right hand, start eating with your left hand, of course. Just an example here, okay? But start to do things in the opposite way. If you've been going to office in a particular way, if you've been driving in a particular route, start to change that. Then what will happen is you will start to think differently. If you're only with a particular group of people, start to mingle with other groups of people. You have to expand your awareness of the world by getting out of your Dr. Frog world. Dr. Frog once was told that there's a big ocean with a large body of water out there, which is 110, 20,000 times bigger than your well in which you are in. And Dr. Frog said, no, that's not possible, because this well is the biggest well that I know. And that does not exist because I've not seen it. It's the same case when it comes to imagination and awareness. There's a lot more for you to know in this world. And all you have to do is just be open to it and learn new things and expand your creativity. I love to go and check out, there's a website called masterclass.com where you can actually learn all kinds of stuff. How to write a book, how to cook, how to act, how to make music from the masters themselves who accomplished great things in this world. Go and get a subscription then. Just go and learn something completely offbeat. If you feel that you don't like a particular topic, go and look for the master and just go and learn that. You may get a different view of the world after you finish that. So the power of imagination is going to make you a full stack brain and not just a narrow brain or somebody who's just having a one dimensional skill set. You got to be multi-dimensional as a human being. Okay. Number 10 is the power of focus. Now, while I'm saying go wide and expand your awareness, the purpose of all of that is to go wide and then start to go narrow and then start to go deep. One of the reasons I like to learn many things is because I want to get a different perspective of how people look at the same thing, so that when I come back to my topic, which is my core niche, which is to create 100,000 digital teachers, 1 million digital teachers in the next few years, is so that I can understand their perspective of the world. But ultimately what I am doing is very focused. What I want to learn is diverse, but I want to take patterns from all of that so that I can implement it into my focused way of learning. So my mentor has told me this, that your time is not your most valuable asset, your focus is your most valuable asset. So today is my video recording day. It's my YouTube day. I have 3 days in a week where I record YouTube videos. I have 3 days in a week that I do podcasts. That is the focus I'm talking about. Once you know what your week looks like, what your month looks like, what your year looks like, more from a very focused perspective on where you want to give your time, which is planned, and there's some buffer days there, you'll be able to really achieve a lot more than just living an ad hoc life where everything just pushes you from one side to the other. But there's no focus. Where there's focus, there's power. Where there's clarity, there's conviction. Where there's conviction, there's momentum. And when there's momentum, there is impact. When there's impact, then you live a much more fulfilled life. Okay. And the final point is how to prepare for the next decade is the importance of spirituality. Now, I don't know if you believe in spirituality or if you don't believe in spirituality. In some way or form, you'll be prompted by nature that there are some forces that are much higher than you. There are some forces which are beyond your comprehension. Okay. And I think the way that the world is going right now, if you don't have a spiritual foundation, your life can crumble really fast. There have been so many business owners, so many successful people who have committed suicide because of not having the right spiritual grounding in their life. And spirituality, there are various processes. There are different types of processes. You can pick whatever you want, whatever faith. See, the religion conveys an idea of faith, and faith can change from time to time. The point here is not about religion, but it is about following something which is eternal. It's the laws of the universe. And religion without philosophy is just fanaticism. Okay? And philosophy without religion is just a mental speculation. So I'll repeat that. Religion without philosophy is just a fanaticism. And philosophy without religion is just a mental speculation where you're just making things up. So when you go back to the roots and you actually go and understand all the different traditions of the world and how all of them actually point to the same direction, which is to elevate our consciousness and to reestablish our relationship with God and increase love and harmony between each other to live in a much more peaceful and harmonious world, that is when you'll be grounded in your efforts to live a much more successful, happier, and a more fulfilled life. So just to recap, here are the 10 thought models to prepare for the next decade. You need to have the remote control of your life, number 1. 2 is you need to implement the golden triangle of success, which is to learn, do, teach. You need to adapt with the marketing trends and the business trends of this world. 4 is what you did last year does not matter. 5 is the way that you learn will determine the quality of your life. The way that you live your life will determine the quality of your fulfillment and happiness in life. The way that you bring up your kids will determine the future of our world. The way that you look at the world is going to again determine the way that you are going to be as a person. And the power of imagination and becoming a full stack brain is going to help you increase your awareness to really understand the world from a more deeper and a wider perspective. And the power of focus is where you go wide and then you bring it narrow and go deep, where you focus on one thing at a time and have very clear, high impact, super productive days in your life. And finally, the importance of spirituality, which is going to be the fundamental foundation of the fabric of our society. So if you're able to resonate with these 11 thought models, please share in the comments below on what was your one big takeaway from this. What is the one thing that you are going to change in your life right now, which can create an impact in the future? And I'm going to read every single comment and I want to understand more from what's going to help you move to the next level. Okay. Another thing I would like you to do is, like this video if you liked it, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell button, all the usual stuff. But the more important thing is I'm going to be doing a webinar very soon. Okay. And if you go to the link in the description or the link wherever it may be, I want to actually meet you live. And I want to show you how you can take your knowledge and start to impact a lot of people with your knowledge, leveraging the power of systems, automation, and so on. I'm on a mission to help create 1 million digital teachers and leaders in the next decade. And I would like you to be one of them. Yes, money making is a part of it. It's a byproduct of it. But adding value to people's lives and living a lifestyle of freedom is my core. If you're able to resonate with this, let's meet live. Okay, want to sign off? Looking forward to read your comments below. Bye-bye.